And we love Baldy. He joins us every single week, 7:30 in the morning on a Tuesday, and we're breaking down the big-time win for the 49ers as they get back on track, 34-3 in Duval County, and really shut down the Jaguars here. And for me, Baldy, pardon me, I'm going to start here. I thought the game was going to come down to the trenches. Which defensive line was going to show up? What was the offensive line going to look like here? And defensively, I thought that 3-and-out to start the game really set the tone. Travis Etienne couldn't get going. Trevor Lawrence couldn't get going. Now, was there a scheme change? Was it because Steve Wilkes was on the sideline? What did you see from this defense Sunday morning when they shut down the Jaguars and held them to 3 points? And good morning to you, Baldy.
Yeah, good morning, Bonte, Joe. Well, the first thing they did, they came out with a 5-man defensive line. They have never shown that before. So, the Eagles play a 5-man defensive line a great deal, but it's the first time I've seen it from the 49ers. So they didn't play it a lot, but they played it probably like 7 or 8 plays in a game. It was a change-up. They're basically saying, look, if you throw it, we got 5 one-on-ones. We feel pretty good that one of them can win. And if you run it, we're just going to plug every gap and let Fred just go clean up. And that's kind of what they did, at time. That was one change-up. And I just thought they were just played fast. Everybody was stepping up, flying to the football, just watching everybody. I mean, they got off blocks. They didn't stay blocked. I mean, just kind of the basics of playing good defense.
Baldy, whenever I hear your voice and I see you on the Zoom, it makes me smile. God, so happy to see you on a Tuesday.
Thanks, Joe.
No, it's just you brighten my day because it's a little wet out here and it's it's gloomy in the Bay Area.
On Sunday, Joe. I'll be out there at Levi Sunday.
Tampa Bay.
You're
coming to this beatdown?
Let's go.
This might be a bad spot for Baker and company, Baldy.
I'm not only coming to that game. I'm coming to Week 14 against Seattle as well.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Baldy. So you know what, Baldy?
West Coast swings right now.
Well, you know what, Baldy? We got to get you to Chase Center Saturday. Warriors at OKC.
Ooh.
This Saturday?
Saturday.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, Bonte. Yeah, hook me up, man. I got to get there.
Come hang out with Bully in the crew. You see Shasky as well.
All right.
Let's do it.
I'm coming.
Let's do it. All right. So I in this game, I saw early in the game, they had, I sound like like some fake X's and O nerd. So I don't even, the A gap. Okay. I saw Chase and Bosa lined up over the center in the A gap. And I was like, I've never seen that before. And clearly it was Bosa's best game. What did you see from Nick Bosa in this game? Was it schematic? Was it effort? Was there a variety of moves? Did he just finally play well? Like, why was he so much more impactful in this game?
He looked really charged, to be honest with you. I didn't think he played a whole lot different than he'd been playing. But, he got the ball out of, Lawrence's hands. I mean, he was just it's hard to say if he was more aggressive because that'd make it sound like he wasn't aggressive in the other games. He just seemed a lot more charged up. Maybe he was fresher, more rested. Maybe it was the addition of Chase Young. Maybe it was listening to all the noise out there about, just sick of losing and a whole month without that feeling. So I just think it was a combination of all those things.
Yeah,
look, he's lined up over a rookie.
Right.
Now, he's a Buckeye, too.
Okay.
He's second, he's Anton Harrison, he's a rookie. I mean, Nick has seen a lot from Chris Jones early in the year. He's seen a lot of guys in this league that he's every bit, if not better than. Beat that kid. Like, the last thing he wants is that to be on his resume, that Anton Harrison shut him out. Like, nobody wants that on the resume. It doesn't matter how many sacks you get or how many wins you get. You just don't want that on your resume if you're the reigning defensive player of the year.
And what did you think of Chase Young? Like, how did they play in tandem? How did Chase play individually? He wasn't in there the first drive, but felt like he played a lot the rest of the game, and I liked what I saw.
Yeah, they played both sides. Mostly Nick played on the left side and Chase on the right side. But, I felt like it was a Buckeye reunion. Like they were enjoying just meeting at the quarterback like they did a couple of times. I think, honestly, the addition of Chase just energized the whole group.
Yeah.
And not that Chase was all world. He played well, because he's such a great athlete. He's not a great pass rusher, but he's such a great athlete. His movement, his speed, his burst, it was on display. I just think having a guy on the other side like that, that's almost like the twin, is something that I think you need. I think every defensive end needs that. And nothing against Cleveland Farrell or anybody else that's played opposite Nick this year, but he's got a freak on the other side right now, and there's no excuses right now.
Right.
They've done everything they can to bolster this group. It's time to go win games and win the line of scrimmage.
No doubt, and they did that. Holding Jacksonville. The last previous three games, Baldy, the Niners had given up 122 yards per game. They're giving up 4.4 yards a carry. That's down to 3.5 against Jacksonville, so you're right about that. And I love that five-man front. I want to see more of it. Philadelphia does it. We saw Cincinnati do it a little bit against the Niners. Let's see more of it. 8 snaps? Let me see 18 snaps. That's tough to block there, but offensively, it was good to see Brock Purdy not turn the ball over. Now, he got away with the no throwing the first touchdown pass, but overall, I thought Brock Purdy was tough on Sunday. 3 touchdown passes. What about the play to George Kittle? Staying in the pocket, double clutching, and throwing it down the sidelines there to give his player, a playmaker, an opportunity to win a one-on-one matchup. I thought Purdy, he calmed the waters this week down in Jacksonville with his performance on Sunday.
So I still, I've watched that play to Kittle for 66 yards. I don't know. I had friends of mine in my office here. I've been watching that play since basically 6 o'clock yesterday morning. And I'm almost positive he was told to pump to Ayuk right there. And it's just a post wheel route. Like it's a combination. It's a pretty typical combination on that side right there against that coverage. And I swear, like Shanahan, when he saw it, he didn't even look. Like he already knew it was a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like he was just like, we got it.
Right.
But in order to do that, all you see is Brock Purdy is the top of his hand. He can't even follow through because it's just collapsed on top of him. But the pump brought the safety Cisco straight up. Like this, the safety just took himself right out of the play. So even if George beats the corner like he does on the pump, like there's no safety over the top to like keep him out of the end zone. So he walks into the end zone, but it was just dynamic. I mean, his touchdown passes were incredible. I thought he was, because not many offenses have their quarterback throwing the ball deep into the middle of the field as frequently as the 49ers do. They love their in-cuts. But those throws all have to be layered. There's Foye Luaquan there. There's Rayshon Jenkins there. There's Cisco. There's, Foley Fotokasi with his hand up in his face. Like, those are not easy throws over the middle of the field, yet they threw them over and over again.
I feel like, as I'm watching like C.J. Stroud right now, throw a lot of layered throws over a linebacker, underneath the safety, or whatever the spot is on the field. That is like the true line of demarcation between the elite players and the just good ones. Like, we talk about arm strength so much, like throw it 80 yards on a rifle. You don't do that very often, as you watch Josh Allen struggle, for example. Guy's got a howitzer. But the layered throws from Purdy and from other young players, isn't that the height of sophisticated quarterback play right now in the NFL? The layered throw?
I think so, Joe, because, that's where the danger is.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you look at Brock Purdy's interceptions, they're all in the middle of the field. Outside of the one to the sideline by Jermaine Pratt, where, it was just kind of a freaky play by Pratt. But most of these been over the middle. And so, like I said, even when we were talking last week, I said, I don't want to see Brock Purdy get conservative. I don't want to see him stop attacking because that's going to take what has made him special away. And so the mistakes are going to happen. You're going to get fooled. Dak Prescott got fooled the other day by the Giants, threw it into coverage. It's going to happen. But the worst thing you can do is get conservative and just start, okay, you know what? We'll check it down. We'll throw it to the sideline. We'll take the safe throws. We'll throw screens. Like, you're not winning championships like that.
Yep.
Mahomes doesn't have 2 in the bank for being conservative.
Right.
He's got 2 in the bank because he never stops attacking. And even if he makes a mistake or a receiver drops a ball and it gets intercepted, whatever it is, like, you just got to power on.
Brian Baldinger here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game, breaking down the Niners' big-time win over the Jaguars, 34-3. I thought it started with the defensive line, that first 3 and out. Fred Warner was popping people. He had a similar hit on Najee Harris, the one he laid on Travis Etienne in that second quarter. It was vicious. But offensively, and looking at this offensive line, Baldy, they got back to running the football again. McCaffrey had nearly 100 yards, running at 4.8 yards a pop. The running game was rolling here. What about this offensive line? And we'll get to Deebo and Trent. But obviously, Trent Williams is a big difference maker. But overall, I thought the offensive line played solid.
Yeah, they get different left guard, Feliciano in there at left guard. But Trent just makes such a difference.
Yep.
Anytime you want to run the perimeter and you're running to the left, I mean, he's just gonna move bodies. He's an easy guy to get behind when you run toss crack and he's out pulling. Darius Williams, who is a great corner, wanted no part of Trent Williams on any of those plays.
You ever see something like that? You ever see something like that? He made a business decision. It's like, I'm not getting in front of 71.
Look, I mean, like Darius Williams, he only leads the league in passes defense. He's a good player. 3 interceptions. I get on him all the time because he should have 6, but he keeps dropping interceptions. But but he sees Trent Williams on the move. Like he's just backing up. He's just trying to basically wait for Aluaquan to come over there and clean it up, or some linebacker to come and make the tackle. So, but you look, Trent makes a difference. But you look, Feliciano played well in there. They came off the ball good. They got to the second level. That's not an easy front to run against, and they had a good day doing it.
Bonte's been all over the Deebo thing, and I'm wrong on this one. Like, I'm watching it this weekend. I'm sitting there. I'm going, Deebo makes a big difference. Obviously, Trent makes a huge difference as well. I don't want to diminish him. But just the pressure he puts on a defense to account for where he's at the line of scrimmage, in motion, in the backfield, it just opens everything up. And I feel like I've really undervalued Deebo Samuel's presence. Did you see that on film?
Yeah, I do, Joe. But you know what I see even more? It's just he just brings a toughness to the offense. He brings a linebacker's mentality to the offense. Nobody is going to tackle him one-on-one. He's going to run through contact. He's going to get yards after. Kittle's like that too. But look, Brandon Ayuk is a great route runner. He's a great receiver. It's not really his specialty, but it is Deebo's, and that's why they line him up at the tailback position, because he invites contact, and then he makes you pay for the contact. And I just think he gives that whole team of toughness. We all get excited when we see him in the open field, and he's just running. You're like, here we go. Like, is he going to finish this thing in the paint? What's he going to do? Who's he going to damage here on his way? It's just he just leaves a path of destruction. And every team needs that level of toughness. It's hard to develop with the way teams practice now. You've got to be able to have those type of players that just sort of energize your whole group out there on the field game day.
No doubt. I'm 100% with you. He's a tone setter, and he may not fit every team, but he fits this team. It's similar to Draymond Green for me. He may not fit every NBA team, but he fits the Warriors, similar to Deebo Samuel here. But look, a lot has been made about Christian McCaffrey, right? And I didn't love the end of the game where they were trying to get him a touchdown record. Want to preserve him there. However, Baldy, I'm in the camp of C-Mac needs to see 20 to 25 touches a game. And I don't care about anything else. Now, there is, some fans are concerned about his workload here. These guys train all offseason to carry the ball 300, 400 times a season here. Where are you at when it comes to C-Mac's workload here? Because personally, Baldy, I can't take this guy off the field. He's that dynamic. I don't want to see him off the field. I want to get him as many touches as possible, but I get the wear and tear aspect of everything. Where do you stand with that, Baldy?
Well, if you just said 20 carries a game, the 49ers want to play 20 games this year. That's 400 touches. He did that once in Carolina, and he was on the shelf for the next 2 years, on and off the shelf. It's just too much. It just is. You look at the wear and tear that those guys take and the way that he runs between the tackles. I just think you better get, whether it's Mitchell or Mason or somebody like touches and get them some rhythm. I think you got to preserve them to a degree, especially if it's a runaway game.
Right.
Like you got to find ways to get them off the field. You just do. I understand what you're saying, and I agree. But at the same time, if you said 400 touches is too much, 300 is where you're trying to get to, but that's not going to be enough for this offense.
Are those
too good in the receiving game?
I was going to not sorry to cut you off, Baldy, but are those guys behind him good enough? Mitchell, TDP,
no, there's a drop
Mason.
Off. No, they're not as talented. They don't have the footwork, and they don't have the vision that Christian has, and so there's a drop off. There just is. It's the eyes tell you there's a drop off. The production tells you there's a drop off, but still, you got to find a way to, because you just can't play him as. I just think that he might be able to go 400 carries and be fine and get to the offseason.
Right.
But not many backs can do it. And I've tracked it. I don't care if your name was Sean Alexander or Deuce McAllister. Every single back that went 400 touches literally was washed up the next year.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a line of demarcation when it comes to that amount of touches and hits. Should he be in the running for MVP? I know quarterback gets a lot of the accolades, and it feels like a quarterback award at this point. But he should be in the conversation for MVP. Christian McCaffrey, no?
Well, right now, he leads this league in rushing. And so by a pretty good margin, by over 100 yards. And then if you look at the number of touchdowns and you look at, I think it depends if the 49ers go on a 6-win tear right here and they're competing with Philadelphia for the number 1 seed, I think he could gain a lot of votes. But it's going to be hard not to give it to a quarterback simply because they touch it so often. And, I don't care whether it's C.J. Stroud or Brock Purdy or Tua. Like, it's going to be hard not to give it to a quarterback. It's going to be hard not to give it, if one of these receivers has 150 catches this year. Right now, CeeDee Lamb has got 500 yards receiving the last 3 games. Yeah. Like, if he breaks the record or somebody, it's going to be hard not to give it to a receiver this year if they put up 2,000 yards and 15 touchdowns, like some of them might do. So I think there's a lot of competitions from other positions as well.
That's amazing here. CeeDee Lamb and some of the production in the passing game is just wild. Looking ahead to Tampa Bay. They're coming in on Sunday. They've had an up-and-down season. They've lost some really close games. They outlasted the Titans on Sunday 20-6. It feels like this could be a bad spot for them coming into Levi Stadium. What do you make of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Where are they at right now, Baldy?
I thought it was a bad spot when they came in there last year, Baldy.
And it proved to be.
Didn't Dre Greenlaw want to have Tom Brady sign his interception?
Exactly.
Like
35-7 at the half.
Yeah. No, it was. I did that game, and I think that was Brock Purdy's first start.
It was. You're right.
So there is all of those things, storylines going on. When I watch Tampa, look, there's still Mike Evans and Chris Godwin out there that they can beat you over the top or after the catch. They're capable. Baker is a pretty good deep ball thrower when he gets protection. Mm-hmm. They can't run the ball. They couldn't run the ball last year.
Yeah.
They can't run the ball this year. It's been a problem. Defensively, all the names. Mm-hmm. Like all those, Antoine Winfield and Carlton Davis and Levante David, Devin White, all the names. They're still good. They're still good on that side of the ball. They're not like Super Bowl winning dominant on that side of the ball right now. And so Shaq Barrett's still there, and all the names. They're just a little bit off. They're still good against the run. They break down in coverage a bunch, and then sometimes I wonder if the right hand knows what the left hand is doing when I watch that team and the way that they break down. But they do break down. So, look, the 49ers are a better roster. They're a better team. This is the time. Like, it's Thanksgiving next week. It's time to start stacking wins. Like, the losing streak is over. You got through that phase. Like, now they need to, just show. Now what you have to do is go, okay, we went to Jacksonville. We won the game that we had to win. It made us feel good on the way back. Now it's time to just start making layups. Like, this should be a layup, and there's not many layups in the NFL, but this should be a layup at home,
right?
Against Tampa. You got to make your layups. And then, when you get to the Steph Curry, 30-foot shots to win games, they're on the schedule coming up.
If you and I were in an elevator and we're doing the elevator pitch here, right? Like, I feel like Sunday was a big pendulum game, and they look great. They looked great. When they're humming and they're playing really good, what makes them so unique, the 49ers? You and I are in the bottom floor, and we're going up to the top floor, and you had to pitch it to me. How would you describe that to somebody who maybe doesn't know football that well?
I would say it's a chunk play offense. So if you're in the huddle, if you're, Sean Burford in the huddle, and you just complete a 22-yard dig route to Ayuk. In the huddle, you're saying we're scoring on this drive. Doesn't matter where you start the drive. So they're a chunk play offense. And then defensively, look, I've said this before, but there's not many things that give me the joy of watching Fred Warner play football. Yeah. Like, there's very few things that I can actually say in my life that give me the same joy of watching Fred play. And when he plays like that, which he does every week, I mean, that defense is just so much fun to watch. Like, because they play so hard, so fast. Even if they make a mistake, the speed of the defense covers for it and stops the big play. So I'd say chunk offense and just pure joy on defense.
Baldy, let me ask you this one, because you're in M&T MT&T Bank Stadium, watching that crazy Ravens and Browns game with the Browns coming all the way back and winning that football game. Who had the more impressive victory? And who's the team that could go on a hot streak outside of the 49ers moving forward? Is it those Cleveland Browns that you just watched? Or is it the Detroit Lions who won an impressive game at SoFi Stadium against the Chargers?
Or the Texans.
Yeah, or the Texans.
I mean, that was Cincinnati. A big win.
Yeah, or the Texans and C.J. Stroud and DeMeco Ryans.
Well, look, at Detroit, I mean, he gave up 38 points. So, that's not anything to be proud of. But offensively, they put up 550 yards of offense against, I don't know what the Chargers do on defense. But
I don't either.
Just a head scratcher. But, when you run for 200 yards in this business, and it's not like, okay, the quarterback got 60, but your two running back, go get you 100 yards. Montgomery and the rookie Gibbs. I mean, they just dominate the line of scrimmage. They're really good on that side of the ball. There's a really good, creative offense. That offense is every bit as creative and fun to watch as when the 49ers are humming. So from an entertainment standpoint, the Lions are always going to entertain you because of the formations, the motions, the creativity in their offense, and the players that they have and how they use them. It's really something to study and to watch.
What about that Browns team moving forward? Should we start to take them seriously in the AFC?
Yeah, you know why? Because defensively, they just put so much pressure on you. And it's way more than just Myles Garrett. Like, they changed things up. Their corners play press man coverage. They challenge, like they did against the 49ers. They challenge every single throw. The coordinator, Jim Schwartz, I didn't know he had these blitz combinations in his bag of tricks, but he does. And he's pulling them out right now. And, they made an impressive pick six. They got him back in the game. They shut down Lamar Jackson. And he's about as dynamic a player as there is in his business, and they just throttled him. So when you can do that, you can win a lot of football games.
As a lover of defense and just unbelievable edge rushers, with all respect to Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Lawrence Taylor, like that era, and I'm sure I'm omitting a lot of great players, that era was spectacular. And you look at the record books, I mean, it's the who's who of the greatest players of all time. Are there more great pass rushers now than ever before? Because I look around this league, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Bosa. I mean, there are so many. Even Jadeveon Clowney, who's like an afterthought when we think about all these great edge. He had 2 sacks over the weekend. It feels like there are more premium edge rushers now than ever before. But am I wrong about that?
Well, I mean, they throw the ball a lot more now. So
That's
there's
true.
a lot more opportunities, Joe. But as a guy that played with and against Reggie White,
I know,
and a guy that had to block Lawrence Taylor, and and a guy that had to block Bruce Smith,
Kevin Green, Charles Haley.
I know it sounds absurd. It sounds absurd.
Charles
but
Mann,
this is a good
Dexter
era.
Manley.
Like Daniil Hunter.
Okay, it is a good era.
Really,
Right.
It used to be 15 sacks was like the benchmark for a season. Now, I know we played an extra game, but 20 sacks is now the benchmark. Daniil Hunter, like there's a lot of guys that could get there this year. But, they're getting the coordinators are getting smarter. They're really creating, even when you saw Chase Young and Nick Bosa in the A-gaps the other day, like they're just getting more creative. You see Myles Garrett, like if I'm playing center on Sunday and Myles Garrett lines up over me, standing up like he's Steph Curry, ready to cross over dribble on me, like that's not the best feeling in the world, especially if he comes to my snapping hand. Like Bruce Smith used to do that every once in a while. Reggie White used to do that once in a while, and you go, please, Lord, like just once. I don't want to do this more than one time today. Like it's just not fair. So they're getting more creative in how they make sure that these edge rushers get a real one-on-one, and they're not getting chipped, and they're not getting doubled, and they're not, just getting tripled like they do to Max Crosby almost every week.
By the way, I saw Mad Max in pro. I went to that Vegas
so
stadium,
sad.
Baldy. First of all, Legion Stadium's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I watched Max Crosby every single play. There's not a player who may play harder than him.
And every snap.
Every snap, Baldy. He was creating holding calls. He was stuffing the run. He gets up and lets the crowd know about it. Matt Max is as impressive as they come. So maybe this is the era for defensive ends.
Max coming on my podcast today, man.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, hey, Raider Nation's feeling good right now going down to South Beach, Miami. Watch out for the Raiders and Antonio Pierce.
I mean, if they can run the ball the way that they've been running it, and they can even run it a little bit better and take a little bit off the plate of Aiden O'Connell, like shorten the game and keep 2 off the field and, all those weapons over there, like they can keep this thing close, and you get it close in the fourth quarter. Like you got Devontae, you got different playmakers out there. Who knows?
What's the podcast, Baldy, that you're going to pop on with Mad Max?
All City, All NFL. The All City Network. Yeah,
right
it's you can find it on the All City Networks and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. But Max is coming on today at 4:00 today. I said, stay as long as you want, Max. We got an hour. You want an hour and a half? We'll just let it roll.
Right. Yeah, I love
no
that.
big deal.
I love that. Joe Spinotti, our board op here, technical producer, loves that. He's happy with his Raiders right now, and Antonio Pierce. Baldy, we'll see you this weekend, man. We can't wait.
Yeah. You guys going to be out there?
Well, yeah, I do. I got to do double duty, man. So I'll be out there. We'll get Bully out there. You won't have the day off, so you guys can talk some hoops. Maybe even pop you on the set, Baldy. You know how to work. You're good on camera.
I'll come find you. I'll be out there early, man. I can't wait to get there.
All right, can't wait to see you, Baldy. Baldy,
best.
all right, Baldy.
Thanks for brightening up the morning.
See you Sunday, man.
All right,
Thanks,
see you
Joe.
Sunday.
See you
Brian Baldinger here on the Morning Ross on 95.7 The Game.